Global Warriors is fundamentally about people development in all guises and all forms of that. It's also about creating a new paradigm or a new shift towards leadership. To me and to us, I think it's becoming a bit of a dirty word. I think there's people standing up as leaders and it's not leadership at all. We want to, reframe leadership and bring it back to what it should be. And our word for it is warriorship, but fundamentally it's about putting action into leadership and actually taking a stand for what you really believe in. There used to be a saying that there's no I in team that people talk about, and I get it, it's about ego. There's lots of I's in teams, because unless you're there being your full self, then there's no team. And I guess the focus now has become on the team. Leaders now, they have to focus on themselves, they have to be the best that they can be, and they also have to be really what we call systems leaders, able to read the collective and understand the collective, understand the dynamics. So no longer is it sort of like, I've got an idea, I've got a vision, I want to take it out, who's going to follow me? It's, I've got an idea, I've got a vision, and I'm checking out to also understand what does this team need, or what does this organisation need, or what does the world need? And like, how can I surf that? Thinking about leaders of today leading in a global world, I have to think about what's the fundamental thing that is really needed. And I guess the word is just connection. In a world where we're so connected with technology, we're so disconnected with ourselves. And if we're really going to be leading, as I say, from our values, with our heart, with connection, thinking about what's actually happening in our groups or communities or societies, we need to be connected to ourselves and we need to be connected to others. There's three key things that we need as leaders, and the first thing is courage, and that's courage to stand in your convictions and to your values, and oftentimes, particularly in change, that might be going against the main or the status quo. The other is openness. Really simple concept, openness. It's open to continuing to challenge our own beliefs and perceptions, daring to challenge our ways of doing things. Openness is also being open to creating something as it unfolds. I think our old command and control structure is very much like, I do my research, I've got this, right, here's how we're going to do it, here's the model. And actually, our fast and vast lives, global lives, aren't like that anymore. We don't have the time often to do the research and programming and then bring it out. We have to be working in the moment. And it's not what's happened, it's what's wanting to happen is the question that we have to ask ourselves as leaders. And the final thing is heart. It's absolutely getting to the heart of things. That's a core part, how we can really get to the heart of what's needed, but coming from that place of care. Big purpose is something that we use, and it's something that we hear in many different guises. Simply put, I think my language is whatever is one tier above ourselves. I think in the past, leaders would be trained, but leadership development programs would be asked to make our leaders sort of stand out. They've got to have their own profile, they've got to build their personal brand is a big thing that's talked about. And that's all about that person achieving something in the organisation or in the world. So when we talk about purpose, you've got to have an element of living to your values, I guess, and your own purpose and passion. Living in accordance with your own values and your passion, something that drives you, something that you want, and it's aligning that with something else externally. So whether it's in your family, in your team, in your community, in the world, it's aligning with something more than just for the sake of ourselves. And that's the shift that we're starting to see now in organisations. Leadership has to start with self. It does. And for us, it's self-development, because that's part of what leadership is. But it's about not being so introspective and stopping here. It's then using yourself, in service of, so it's coming back out all the time. There's a lovely phrase by Brené Brown, and she talks about transformation being a critical mass of small acts of courage. And that's really all we need to be doing, is taking our own small step or our small act of courage, whatever that is, and collectively, or even collectively in all those small acts in ourselves, that will make the shift.